What is this?
Pick on Mike Day.
He said full of it.
I think he's talking about
You're
you.
full of energy.
No, I know.
You're full of
I thought you
contributions.
just full of it.
You're full of contributions.
Yeah. Well, I knew we were going live. Are we live?
Yeah, we're
Probably.
live.
All right, we're
Yeah.
live.
Hey, everybody. It's Dale Jr. Here for the Ask Junior portion of the show. Thanks for tuning in. We have Ernie Francis Jr. is our guest. He just walked out. And Ernie Francis Jr., you might have seen him last year in the SRX series where he won at Indianapolis Raceway Park. And he's also a 7-time champion in the Trans Am series and the winningest driver over the history of the series as well. He's got 47 total wins. And and he's going to work for Penske next year in the Indy Lights.
This year.
What'd I say?
Next year.
Well, that's what I mean. Next year.
This year.
This year. Whatever. All right. He's going. The SRX series basically created these new opportunities for him. So what he thought might be a path to stock cars is now a path into open wheel. And we're going to be tuned in to see how he does this year. Really excited about that. But anyways, we got a great show. Leah's, as you're going to learn when you listen to this podcast later, this is Leah's last show, everybody. Leah's taking a new great opportunity to go forward in her career, and we're excited about her new path. But she's going to leave the show, and we're going to miss her. So this is her last show. So make sure you guys say something nice to her in the comments. Anyways, Leah's got your questions for us today, so let's get started.
Yeah, our first question from IKY on Twitter. Thinking about the Myatt Snyder crash and how Matt Mills clobbered a tire in the engine, what is one or a few instances where you hit some large debris or something hit you on the track?
I don't really think I had a moment, anything similar to that. The couple of times that I did get some debris on the grill, it was very helpful. We won the Daytona 500 in 2014 with a little trash on the grill, and also a Dega race in 2015. We got a little debris on the grill as well, and that really helped my car when I needed it those last few laps. But I always go back to a race in Talladega. I think it was 1986 maybe. 85, where a drive shaft went through Dad's windshield. And so he's racing at Talladega, 195, 200 miles an hour, and a drive shaft fell out of a car. And the car in front of him, I think Cale Yarborough, runs over the drive shaft and kicks it up in the air. And the drive shaft hit the roof of the car and split in two. And so half of the drive shaft, the bottom half the bottom half of the drive shaft, the tail end of it, goes through the car, and the other half goes over the car. It ripped this drive shaft in half. And Dad, they interview him, literally I think it was Ned Jarrett's on pit road, and goes down into the car and says, "Hey, what happened?" And Dad said something about that thing almost took my head off. And literally came right by him. And they had glass windshields back then, and Dad's face is bleeding from all these little cuts. And he's got all this glass embedded in his face.
Jeez.
While they're doing this interview, and they fix and repair his car and put a windshield in, and he goes out there and finishes the race.
Good heavens.
And he came really close to being,
that
could have been a serious situation. But anyhow, that's terrifying to think about. But what a pile of grit. I like saying that about Dad. But I was driving down the road in my truck one day, and there was a truck, dump truck, about 2 or 3 cars in front of me, hauling a bunch of wood and debris. Right, it's dust, dirt flying out of this thing. It's hopping down the road, and a trunk or a tree limb comes out of this truck and lands on the ground, and it was kind of arced like a fork, and so the car in front of me run over it. And imagine like if you slap your hand on a fork, how it flips the fork, right? Basically, it kicked this root up in the air. This thing's about 1.5 feet long, and I'm watching it flip through the air, lands right on my windshield as I'm going down the road, and poked a hole in it. and the whole windshield busted, right? And I'm watching this happen, and the whole inside of the truck filled up with glass dust. Like when that windshield goes, and whole thing is shattered, and the whole inside of the truck filled up with this sort of haze, and I was like, just for a second, I was like, oh, I gotta close my eyes because this is glass, right? And it's like, it's in the air, right? And I closed my eyes, stopped the truck, and opened my eyes back up, and all that had settled. And then, I had to put some helicopter tape on my windshield to get around for the next couple of days till I can get a new one. That was the only time anything like that ever happened to me. Next question.
Next question from Zach Thomas. What's the single biggest thing needing improvement on the next gen cars following Daytona?
Well, I think they're going to be looking at the, they had some wheels come off. I guess the drive pins were getting sheared or something. I mean, there's probably going to be some part failures or things that need to be beefed up. And NASCAR will have to go to these, entities that are selling whatever part it is and have to redesign it or improve the design on it. And I think that, they'll try to get those parts out as quick as possible. But, we're going to see completely different loads, and the car will be stressed in different ways when we go to these next several racetracks than what we saw at Daytona. So I think we all need to be prepared, for this to be a little bit of a process, right? Working the bugs out of this car and finding flaws in it, right, that need fixing. So don't everybody get all alarmed when something does become a reoccurring issue, right? It's just, I think it might be too much for us to expect them to design a car that's completely flawless right out of the gate. It's going to have, its problems. But I don't really know of anything that stood out to me watching the race. I kind of watched the race as a fan and didn't really, get too much into details. But there were some wheel issues and breaking wheels and whatnot, and they're going to look at that and find out why that happened and move forward.
Next question from Seamus Tamble. Kinseth is in the booth this weekend. What are you looking forward to about that? And has he asked for any advice?
He didn't, but I gave it. I texted him yesterday, and I said, hey, man, you excited? And he goes, yeah. He said that he was approached about doing it and thought, why not? He felt like he needed to put himself in an uncomfortable situation, and that's certainly going to be uncomfortable out of the gate. I told him, I said, just keep telling yourself over and over and over, energy, energy, energy. Keep your energy up. The toughest part of the race is the first stage, and more so maybe the second stage. The third stage is always going to carry you because it's going to be full of drama and full of excitement. Typically the intensity is ramping up in that third stage, and that helps you maintain your energy. But when there is not a lot of energy on the track in that stage 2 or stage 1, you've got to bring it. And I told him, I said, just be yourself, and if you're excited about what you're seeing, tell us that. Tell us what you're enjoying. And I think he'll be great. He's going to have he's got such a dry sense of humor, so hopefully people will get his jokes when he tells them. Some he might tell some you might not even know is a joke, right?
Oh, 100%. That's my worry for him is that he is so dry. Like that will be interesting to see an energetic Matt Kinseth throughout the race.
Yeah.
And him not inject his dry sense of humor in it. I can't imagine that happening, actually.
I can't wait to talk to him afterwards. Maybe we should reach out to him during the show next week and see if he'll come on for about 10 minutes and give us feedback on how his experience went. Yeah. Next question.
Next question from Sean Berg. With pit crew guys working both Xfinity and Cup cars, how hard is it going to be for the tire changers to go back and forth between the single lug and 5 lugs? Do you expect that we will see mistakes?
Well, there's some teams that won't even let their teams change the 5 lugs. If they've, some of these Cup guys might not even want their A class, changing Xfinity wheels anymore. It is so important. It is so critical that those are done properly and right, and you don't have wheel pins shearing and tires coming off and so forth. You you want your best guys ready to go. So they might not even allow some of them to do that job or to do a truck for some extra money, right? That makes a lot of these guys that are the B team very valuable. And you might think that it would create a lot of opportunity for some guys that weren't getting a lot of work to work in the truck and the Xfinity Series. So we'll just have to see how that nets out over the year. And I think certainly when we get in the playoffs and get toward the more critical part of the season, you're definitely going to see these teams on the Cup side that are still trying to race for this championship to really, put some strict, boundaries on what their guys can do.
Next question from Tate Lytle. Who is one driver currently under the radar that you see doing big things in the near future?
Well, we just had one in here today. Ernie Francis Jr. is going into Indy Lights and with a focus on trying to get to IndyCar someday soon. And he's with a great team at Penske to be able to really give him that chance. I'm excited about what Josh Berry's going to do this year now that he's got a 100% focus on the Xfinity program, and he's in the car every single week. I know that guy's in our camp, and it's easy to get excited about your own guys, but I'm looking forward to seeing how his season develops. There's a lot of guys in the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series to keep an eye on, but there's a lot of good healthy things happening throughout NASCAR.
Next question from Jake McGinley. Any updates on a High Rock release for stores around North Carolina?
Well, you just follow High Rock on social media, and obviously me. I'm going to be trying to promote as much as we can anytime we have anything going on. But we were supposed to ship in the spring, and they're moving that up a little bit because the stores are asking for it, and there's demand. And we had a great weekend in Daytona with our sales. And so you'll be seeing it a lot sooner. But that's the only way you're going to know exactly what date things are going to become available is by staying close to those social media handles, me and High Rock.
Next question from Blake Mitchell. Do you have any interest in being a space tourist?
No.
None?
I mean, I think it would be great to know what going into space is like, but I'm going to give that a little time, right? I'm going to let them sort out the bugs and make sure, get a good track record before we ever looked into that. But it's probably going to be too expensive. The cost alone would probably be a deterrent for me. Don't you think?
It's space, man.
Well, yeah, but that is a very expensive hobby.
Yeah. But if to go up there and come back with nothing tangible, I don't.
You're paying a lot for a story.
Well, they'll probably give you like
Probably get a
certificate
t-shirt.
or a
plaque.
T-shirt.
All right, say I've went to space, and here we are. What questions you got for me?
What was it like, man? Did you?
Well, we went up there,
Float?
a little weightlessness, and then we came back.
How was peeing?
Huh? I don't know. I don't.
Peeing.
I mean, you're really,
Well, you said
you're
this is
going to
like
ask me
fake.
how peeing was. I
Yeah,
mean,
I don't know.
that's really
Came to mind.
okay.
Well, now that we're off the rails,
Yep.
that's all I had
That's
for today.
all your questions?
Well,
All right.
Oh.
You're going to make your last Ask Junior out
We
with that
cannot
question
close
that
it.
Matthew
No.
said,
No.
how was peeing?
didn't you have a question for him, Mike?
Did I?
Oh, yeah.
I did. What was
Oh,
it? I did.
Okay.
I
Jimmy.
don't remember what it was, though.
Chinchilla.
Jimmy Johnson.
You,
Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy
yeah,
Johnson.
I posted on Instagram. That's right. I posted on Instagram the other day that we have taken ownership of a chinchilla, and you went into my comments saying that you had
rabbit?
one. It was a chinchilla.
Wait, is there a difference? Because yours
Oh,
looks like a
you
rabbit.
you thought it was a rabbit.
It looks like a rabbit.
That ain't a rabbit.
I didn't
rabbit.
read. I
got it.
just saw the picture.
All right.
he didn't
so
have
he
a
didn't have
chinchilla.
it. You've never had a
I
chinchilla.
had a rabbit. So when I was working,
Still could be interesting.
when I was a mechanic at a dealership, I got for some reason I thought it'd be cool to get a pet rabbit. So I had a pet rabbit, and at night I would cover his cage, thinking, man, probably wants to go to sleep, and that thing would go crazy all night. Like it wouldn't move it wouldn't move during the light of day. It just sits there and maybe drink a little water and grab a little bite to eat. But when you turn the lights out and try to go to bed, it's racket chaos. Like it's running laps in this cage. I mean, seriously, it was very loud. I couldn't wait to get rid of this thing. So I actually gave him to a one of the mechanics at the dealership was moving out west, and I said, please take this rabbit. And he did.
What type of rabbit was it?
Just a rabbit, I reckon. I don't know.
I don't know, like white rabbit, like
Not a white. Nope, not a white rabbit. It was dark colored. But so when I saw your picture, I went, oh boy, he's not gonna like this thing at night. It's gonna be loud. And what did you tweet? What did you say?
It is the party starts at about 11 p.m. It's like I swear you hear. I mean, I swear things just making racket, but it's not a rabbit. But apparently it's just all in the family. Like if it's a chinchilla, a rabbit. I mean, they're nocturnal. We're learning, and so
Isn't it regrettable that they don't tell you that beforehand?
well, my daughter seemed to know it. She has been wanting a chinchilla for 2 years, and we finally broke down and got her one. But, yeah, I could have done a little bit more research in that.
What is a chinchilla?
Is a chinchilla
anyway?
like a sort of a rabbit? Is it a rabbit?
I don't know.
They all sort of look the same. I mean, but by all means, don't call it a rabbit. Don't call it a rat. Don't call it anything it looks like because they take offense to it. Not the chinchillas, of course, but, the
rodent.
owners of the chinchilla.
It's a rodent.
It's a rodent, according to Google.
Of course it's a rodent.
And
I mean, I
rabbits
know
aren't
a rodent
rodents.
when I see a rodent. That's a rodent.
It's probably a rabbit, but they can sell them for
It's
$5.
not a rabbit.
They can sell them $5 more if they call them a chinchillas.
It's not.
Hey,
It's
man,
it,
you
it
can buy a
definitely
rabbit
isn't.
or you get this
Chinchilla does sound cool, man.
You get this chinchilla, very unique.
They definitely feel different.
I love the name though. That's my favorite part.
What'd you name him?
Chimmy Johnson.
It's so freaking awesome.
Why would you want to say that?
You asked
Such a
me the
long
question.
name.
It's awesome.
Like
We actually had this conversation before the show. I have a tendency that I like to name my pets with a first and a last name, and I call them the full name.
okay.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. And by the way, every time we've said Chimmy Johnson, somebody laughs.
It's funny, dude.
So it's
Gus has
entertaining.
my dog Gus. I brought him today. He has 3 names:
I didn't know that.
Captain Augustus McCrae,
There you go.
Oh.
but we call him Gus.
Yeah, Captain
he's so
Augustus
royal.
McCrae. Listen, we have to entertain ourselves with what we call it because that's the only entertaining thing about this chinchilla. Everything else is a nuisance. So give it one good quality.
Oh.
Well,
All right.
okay. All right.
Did anybody wish you well on the
Yeah,
chat?
we had a lot of people that
Aw.
said they would miss me and good luck, and I appreciate that so much. So thank you.
Very cool. All right. Leah's last show. Very sad. We're thankful though that you tuned in to Ask Junior and support all the things that we do, and we'll see you next week.